everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Today we're looking at a game called Challengers, which was very, very popular and talked about a lot at the Essen Spiel this year. Big game fair. Everyone was playing this from Z-Man Games. I didn't know anything about it. The cover didn't inspire me with confidence because it looked like a Munchkin-esque cover.
It's got a giant T-Rex and a giant rubber ducky.
You know you love that cover. Come on, you can play.
Well, the more I look at it, but I mean, I'm saying I was like, oh, is this kind of a Munchkin-esque game? I was not expecting, I didn't know what to expect from this game. I just saw that it went from, is it 1 to 8 players? Yeah, okay, never played as a 1. Also never played with 2. But I didn't know what to expect going in. An 8-player game is an odd thing. What I wasn't expecting at all was essentially deck building war would be my two quick...
If you're thinking like the card flipping war game with no choices.
Yes.
100%, that's what I mean. You know what? I'll just show you how it plays. The first thing you're doing in this game is you're going to determine how many players are in the game, and you're going to hand out cards. So like this card is always given out for every number of players. This one's only if you're using 1 to 2 players. This one's only using if you're doing 5 to 8, so on. So everyone's going to get one of these cards. And what this card is going to do is you're going to be playing 7 matches, and this tells you what field you're playing on. So there's 4 possible fields. So if I have this card in match 1, I am the light green player on the green field. Actually, I'm the light green player every match. But this person is going to be the dark red player on match 1. They're the dark green player in match 2, which means they'll be playing this player, because the 2 greens will play each other. And so you're going to move around and you'll be playing different opponents over the 7 different rounds. Each player is going to start with a 6-card deck. And so you have 3 newcomers, a value of 1, a talent, a value of 2, a dog, a value of 3, and a champion, a value of 4. So for a match, you're going to have to move and sit by your field, and you're going to be playing another player, unless, of course, you're playing with an odd number of players. In that case, there's going to be a robot player involved, and there's a special robot deck that they will be using to play against you. But the first thing that you'll do is you're going to get some more cards. So this will show you which deck you're drawing cards from. So I'm going to draw, you always draw 5 cards, and you keep 2. Or here I can draw 5 cards from deck A and keep 2, or 5 cards from deck B and keep 1. And as you get down farther, there's decks A, B, and C. If you don't like the 5 cards you drew, you can redraw 5 more cards, but you're going to have to pick from those cards. So when you draw, these decks are made up of different types of characters, which leads me to suspect there will be expansions on the way. There's 6 different types. You're going to be using 5 of these types in there. But you'll draw your cards. You'll decide which one you're going to keep. There's this little case here. The ones you don't keep, you'll discard here. And in fact, after you're done adding cards to your deck, you can cull any card you want out of your deck and throw it away if you want to. But once everyone's done that, they now have their own deck. Let's show you a sample match here. So these 2 people are playing. You're going to each shuffle your deck ahead of time. You flip the coin here to show which player starts. So let's say here we got the light green side will start. So let's say that's this player. They're going to turn over the top person. This is the dog. The dog has the flag in possession. Then the other player is going to turn their card over, a 1. A 1 does not beat a 3, so they're going to keep turning over cards so they can beat a 3. 1 plus 3 does beat a 3. The pig wins here. So now they get the flag, but only the pig has the flag. You put any other card that was 1 on top of that. The dog is sent to the bench here. So then we draw here the merman. The merman says if there's at least 1 other C card on your bench, this card's plus 3. But that's not the case, so we'll draw again. A newcomer, still not enough to beat the pig. And talent, that's 4. That's enough to equal or beat the pig. That's all you need to do. So now the flag comes back over here, and the pig and the newcomer are both sent to the bench. So now all we have to do is beat a 2. A newcomer and a cow. So that comes back over here. These come over here to the bench. So we have a talent, a newcomer, and a merman sitting on the bench. Now we turn over this. A champion beats a cow. That comes over here. This cow is discarded to the bench. This newcomer, there already is a newcomer, so they sit in the same spot on the bench. Beating a 4 is going to be tricky. The vendor says, from the bench, my balloon cards have +1. Well, they're not on the bench, so that ability doesn't do anything. This says, if this card gets in flag possession, take 2 fans. And fans are victory points. So that would be a pretty cool card to have pulled, but he did not get, because that's only 3, and 3 doesn't beat 4. So here we go. 6 does beat 4, so now the dog has it back, and the champion comes down here. Now the merman comes out. Now this one is a +3 because there is a C on the bench, so this one is now a value of 4. We take the flag back. The dog goes over here, the clown goes over here, the vendor goes over here. It's their turn. They come back. Their champion takes it away from my merman. My merman goes over here. I then play a 1, can't beat a 4. 2, can't beat a 4. 5 can beat a 4. So we take the flag back. And now there's nowhere on the bench to put the champion, so this team loses. There are 2 ways your team can lose. If there's nowhere to put someone on the bench. Or if, let's say that this pig wasn't in the deck, this champion had the flag, and these are my last 2 cards, and they weren't enough to beat the champion, then I would lose. So there's 2 ways to lose. If you don't have enough cards left to take the flag from your opponent, or if you need to put somebody on the bench to cause, and you don't have a spot for them. Now, there's all kinds of special abilities in here. There are cards that say rare and common. Rare means, well, this one shows there's only 2 T-Rexes. So that's pretty powerful, but there's only 2 in the deck. Now, that's in the C deck. I'm showing you really powerful cards. But here, there are some cards from the bench. Your cards are +1 during the attack. If this card gets in flag position, take 3 fans. In the B's section, there's even more special abilities because either ones, look through your deck, choose any card and put it on the top of your deck on the flag toss. Once you lose the flag, when this person loses the flag, their next card's +2. This card is +1 for each trophy of your opponent. When you win, you'll take the top trophy here. These are random points on the other side. This is 2. Let's see, round 2 is worth 3. Round 3 is worth 3. All the way down to round 7, which in this case is worth 9 fans. So sometimes during the attack means when you play it. Sometimes they let you sweep out cards from your bench and put them into your discard pile. And different things are going to happen. But once you're done with the match, you then go to the next round. You see who you're going to play. You add more cards to your deck. You can subtract some cards if you want. You play another match. After 7 matches, you add all the points from the trophies you've gotten, plus any other fans that you might have gotten through various means, and whoever has the most is the winner. Now, there's one rule in the game I understand why it exists, but I have a hard time getting behind it, and that is the whole get up and move around the table, which gamers do not particularly like to do. And even if you are kind of an exercise person, it's still kind of a pain to get up and move around.
It says to get up and move around the table because we didn't do that.
Well, that's because
I feel like I haven't played. We haven't played the game. Every time I played, we haven't played this properly because I didn't get up and move.
Well,
around the
because
table.
I can be like, let's play over here. We'll play over this way. However, I get it.
I want to pole vault while I play. No.
So before Roy rants, this game really took me aback with. I wasn't expecting the game to be this light. It is particularly light, although it's kind of a weird light. It's one of those ones where I always use this Mamma Mia as an example, but it's the kind of game where I'm like, here's how to play it. I don't have time to teach you how to play it. I'm going to show you how to play it, because the concept of beating the other person and losing by not having any more cards to play or discarding too many cards, for some reason, as light of a game as it is, that's like, I haven't seen that really before, especially the not having any room to discard people. That's actually fairly innovative. And so it kind of fits in a weird mode. But you loved it, I think.
Yeah. So the thing about this game is that there's not very many choices. Like you said, it was war. War, basically, you're flipping over cards to see which side wins. There is a deck building element to this game where you're getting cards, but you're getting, 5 random cards here from this deck, 5 random cards from that deck. And that can swing wildly because those decks are not small. They're gigantic.
No, and you take one faction out. That means nothing, by the way.
There's a ton of cards in there that just don't have special abilities or don't have things. Some of those cards are way better than the others, so it's just value judgment.
I don't know that I agree on that, actually.
There's a decent amount of value judgment on some of these cards that you have to kind of decide. And some of the cards, if someone grabs it or gets several of the same of that, then it can really make their deck better. And because there's no other real choices, occasionally a card will come up that allow you to put cards in specific orders on the top of your deck and things like that. But this game basically plays on autopilot for the most part. So basically you're flipping over cards. doing what? It's basically like you're playing Candyland where you get to choose one of the colors occasionally. Is basically how this game kind of plays out. At least for me, I just want to play games with more agency and meaningful decisions.
And you've played plenty of games, collectible card games, where you have to do deck building before you go into a match.
Yes. And I love deck building games. I love building decks in games, but it's also random the cards that you have access to.
So this is...
Also, it's a collectible card game because you buy the pack of cards.
No, I buy the specific card I need to win the game. I never buy packs.
This is to me like a simulation, like a very jokey, goofy little simulation, kind of like how Millennium Blades is.
Yes.
It simulates.
Right.
I'm going to construct a deck and then we duel. Okay, next round I get like access to a few cards. I construct my deck in a very limited fashion, and then we duel, and it's...
Yeah, but there's no real choices during the dueling at all. Like...
There's occasionally where it will say...
Right, it'll be like you can put a card on the top of the deck, or... It's so limited in like what you're actually doing. It's like you're playing on autopilot. It's like if I was driving a Tesla on autopilot, but that Tesla just constantly runs into the wall, is basically what this game is. It's like it doesn't drive properly. It's like, I built this thing, you're supposed to work properly, I put the things in there, and it all fell apart. And some people might find that fun and silly, but when I play games, I want to have meaningful decisions and be able to choose what I'm doing. I like luck. I like luck in games, and I enjoy that stuff, but like, I want to have some agency as I play a game.
Here's an analogy, Tom, to build off what Roy is saying here. If you're expecting a self-driving car, this is more like self-driving bumper cars.
Right.
You're just, you know what I mean? Like, I love bumper cars, driving around, whacking into people. This is like a car that drives itself, and I'm like, oh,
Except
this is kind of weird.
sometimes your bumper car goes out of the track and runs off a cliff.
Which is kind of, it has some fun to it.
As a side note, there's so many cards in the game. I am not a fan of the card quality, actually. It's not that great. And the artwork is fine. I actually like the artwork. But I wish the card quality was better. And these trays are... I'm not sure I like these funky, weird trays either. Like this card in the back. And there's only one tray. I would rather if they given me 6 trays so we can put the trays on different sides of the table. Because you were pulling cards that often. But anyhow, what about you?
I like bumper cars. And so that's... What this kind of reminds me of a little bit, too, is just like it's a Millennium Blades mixed with like the Marvel Snap idea, and
yes, actually, I thought of Marvel Snap when I thought of this game.
Yeah, so you might not be familiar, so let me explain. Very micro matches. It's not a micro game, but it's micro matches.
Right.
Each matchup is so short and honestly pretty dumb, right? Because you're just flipping cards over. But I like the level of deck building I enjoy in games is very minimal. Marvel Snap, when you start off the app, is like, here's 20 cards, build a 12-card deck. You're like, got it, I know how to do this.
But you love Dominion, which is like gigantic deck building.
But I'm talking about the deck construction before you go into a match. I don't love sitting there with thousands of cards and you can pick several of them. So I'm grateful that there's draw random 5, stick 2 into your deck, and then see what happens. It's bumper cars. It's chaotic. It's wild. You might get hurt a little bit. You will have a superior deck against an inferior one and lose, just because of card draw. But then you're done for the round and you go to another match.
Yeah, so for me, this game has random points, essentially. I mean, they get higher, but also, who cares? You're right, you do get random cards. But I'll tell you what, this game is stupid. I don't think anyone's going to say that otherwise, and yet I like it. I think part of it is because you played the short match. Part of it is the same reason I like games like Galaxy Trucker. Galaxy Trucker, you build your spaceship, and then you see what happens. Here, I build a little deck of cards, and I see what happens. And I feel like you do get to make some meaningful choices. I like the idea that some cards say rare and some cards say common. And like the rare cards are definitely better than the common. Well, no, not really, because the commons you can get more of those possibility, which makes it easier for discarding purposes. They have different special abilities. Maybe I should take cards of all of one type. Yes, I get you only have 5 to pick from and stuff. But I like the fact that you can cull as many cards as you want. You know, I don't know what it is. I don't necessarily like the robot. If you play with odd players, one person plays a robot. There's a little deck that you play against. I don't know that I love that. I like playing against other people. But it's entertaining to me to take the deck and flip it over, and it's so fast. You're like, all right, now let's try it again. And sometimes the game is so dumb it's good. That's where I'm at with challengers. I'd like Dominion. I like collectible card games. I like having a pool of 10,000 cards to pick from. I'm a huge fan of that. But not every game.
Right.
And so this one is just nonsense, but it's better than it should be. And I know why it got published, because if you made this and brought it to certain people, they would hate every minute of it. But you play this with a group of people who just don't. I'm telling you, I could see this one being a really big hit at a lot of places.
And a lot of conventions.
Conventions for sure.
For me, I feel like they could just play War and it would at least be more streamlined.
Streamlined, yeah, but I think that the highs of this game, they're there.
Does it feel fiddly to you guys? Like for me, the whole time we were playing, it felt very much like, okay, who's going up against who? And then we got to flip the coin, and then we got to like try to rush through playing our matches. It just felt very fiddly as we're going through all the different stuff and trying to draw the cards and things.
It's only fiddly for the guy running it. I mean, to say, hey, you're playing. I mean, your card tells you who you play against.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe it was at the fever pace we were playing at when we were playing.
I think you got it. I think you got to be like, let's go. Do it.
But it just felt like, wow, this is like just all over the place.
All right, what's your rating?
So for me, I'm giving this a 2. I hate this game. I think this is the lowest score I've given a game in a really long time. When I play games, I want to play a game. This is putting cards out on a table. You're doing decisions with a couple cards here and there, but then you're just seeing what happens. And it's like this activity of seeing what happens for a while. I like to make meaningful choices. I like to actually try to like have agency in a game as I play it. I like to like do things with the other player, and it's kind of frustrating to be like, okay, I'm trying to make meaningful decisions. We flip over the cards and they just don't come out in the right order. You lose over and over again. I lost every single game we played of this and didn't lose the game. Like I wasn't very last. Like I still had points because of some of the cards I picked here and there. But the
wise decisions you made over the course of the game.
timing of those cards would miss some rounds, they would hit some rounds, and it was just so much just frustration of like, I tried to make meaningful choices, but it really doesn't matter because nothing you do in this game matters. So Tom's gonna tell you to play the game. I'm gonna say I don't.
You don't know my score is gonna be.
I don't ever want to play this game again. And War is more streamlined than this is. So
That's really interesting. There's going to be I think a spread of scores here possibly. I'm giving this one a 7. I liked it. I halfway through the game was thinking I don't know if I like this or not. And then just playing more rounds of it, and then I took it home and I showed Wendy.
every time he
Just the
beat
two
me,
of
he
us.
liked it a little bit more.
I won like 1 match out of 7 the first
We
game.
played twice, so you had to win twice.
It's chaotic, and I enjoy a little bit of chaos in my games. This is not something I want to pull out often. I also will be very judicious about to whom I introduce.
Yes.
But I think in a setting where you could play this with a crowd of people where you might have played like a party game.
Right.
And this is like a party game.
So fiddly.
It's like a party game card dueler. And I think that for that, it's unique enough. It's done something that I haven't seen somewhere else. And I would play it again occasionally. So it's a 7 for me.
It's an 8 for me. And I actually considered going higher than that, but I haven't had the convention experience yet. So if you've ever gone to one of Dice Tower conventions, there's a chance I'm bringing out Magical Athlete, which is just over-the-top stupidity. You pick some characters at the beginning of the game. You put them out, you roll dice, they move around, their special actions happen. Occasionally you get to make a choice, but often you just play a character and see what happens. I love Magical Athlete. It has less agency than Challengers. Challengers has more agency, actually. You get to pick multiple cards and put them in the deck. Yes, the deck's random, but they give me that exact same feeling. I have yet to play Challengers with 8. I'm going to. I might do it on the cruise when the cruise comes up. I feel like that would be a hilarious time. Again, making sure I pick the people who do it. Not every, I tend to lean towards games that require more brain power and stuff. I just do. Not overly, but I definitely tend towards the middle of the spectrum. And a lot of little light games, I go, well, that was amusing, and then I move on. I'm definitely playing this one again. Like, it's almost an 8.5 probably, but I'm going to stay at an 8 for now.
Do you think like the silly theme of it like helps you a lot? Because I know you like that mishmashed wackiness
I do
a
like
lot.
the theme, but honestly, no, I'm more amused about, haha, that card turned up. Yeah, I do laugh on my T-Rex won that match or the T-Rex lost to whatever.
Gotcha.
Or when I'm like, the rubber duck, which is a pretty great card in this game.
I just like to
actually.
feel like things I do matter, you know, because they really don't in this game.
You matter, Roy. You matter.
You matter.
Not to this game, I don't.
Stay away from Roy Challengers.
Please.
You're a toxic game. Alrighty, anyway.
Hey, look, bumper cars.
That's where you got the. Okay, fine. Anyway, that's Challengers. Definitely, this is a try before you buy if you can game, or at least watch the overview to see if it's a game you'd like, because you can see very different opinions. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Have fun bumping people in bumper cars.